All right, so I got this really interesting email from 23andMe today. Your DNA connects you to the first generational Africans in colonial Mexico. View your historical matches. Dear Aisha, this Black History Month, we're expanding our historical matches feature to include the genomes of the three first generation Africans who were buried in a mass grave in colonial Mexico. Okay, I never heard of this. Um, and I don't really know about the history. I'm thinking, is colonial Mexico like Texas, Mexico, Arizona, maybe? Um, Through a combination of ancient DNA and other anthropological analysis, researchers identified them as the first generation Africans who were likely forcibly transported to Mexico as a part of the transatlantic slave trade. Their DNA reveals close ties to present day populations from Central Western Africa. Ah. Further analysis showed that one individual was infected with hepatitis B, while many others suffered from yaws, a bacterial infection affecting the skin, bones, and joints. We are writing to share that your DNA connects to one or more of these first generation Africans in Mexico. Okay. Peace and blessings, beloved. I'm your sis, Aisha Rahman. I'm an archivist, I'm a genealogist, and I'm a heritage traveler. Here on my channel, I share my journey of reconnecting to my roots in the US as well as West Africa. I obtained my Sierra Leone citizenship through DNA testing with African Ancestry, showing that my maternal line has lineage to Sierra Leone through the Mende and Temne people that live there today. So I click on historical matches. It opens up here in 23andMe. You have 4 historical matches. What? So this is interesting. This kind of ties into my previous video that I just did with GEDMatch. I'm learning so much about DNA, guys. It's really interesting. Educational tutorial. Find out your 23andMe matches your DNA with people who lived hundreds or thousands of years ago. Okay. Archaeologists around the world have unearthed human remains, people who lived hundreds or thousands of years ago. Scientists who study ancient DNA are able to sequence genomes of many individuals. Okay. Now 23andMe can identify sections of your DNA that you share with these people who died a long time ago. We will notify you as new historical profiles are added over time. What does this mean? In most cases, you will be very distantly related to these people. Think of them as distant cousins, many, many times removed. If the DNA evidence suggests you have significant genetic relationship, such as a direct ancestor, we will let you know. Please keep in mind you may find some of these aspects of this feature distressing, such as unexpected family histories or descriptions of human remains. Wow. Okay. And it just brings me back to this. Explore ancient historical groups. Okay, so this is a timeline. There's so much to learn. Okay, Africans in colonial Mexico. Where is colonial Mexico? Oh, New Spain. A vast colonial territory that encompasses what is now Mexico. Okay, the Caribbean and much of Central America and parts of the United States and Canada. Okay. So these are the people that I match. SJN. 1500 CE. Wow. Okay. So I have a distant connection to a male, 1500s to 1600s, who is buried in Mexico City, downtown Mexico. An individual of African descent buried in a mass grave. While historical records show largely describe the hospital serving the region's indigenous population, 2 other individuals of ancestry support claims that the hospital treated a border community. Researchers identify SJN003 as an adult male, likely between 25 to 30 years old at the time of his death. His teeth had been intentionally filed into decorative shapes, a practice observed among enslaved Africans and resembling the modern populations of West and Central Africa, including Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Cameroon, and both the Republic and Democratic Republic of Congo. Further evidence came from sortium isotope analysis, I don't know what that means, which revealed that his tooth enamel contained isotopic ratios common in West Africa, strongly suggesting that he was born in Africa. Wow, this is so cool. So they extracted DNA from his tooth. He had been infected with Treponema pallidum, a bacteria that causes skin infections. Wow. Very distant related. So I share 6 centimorgans. So he's probably like, I don't even know, like 15th cousin. You share more DNA with this individual than 43% of 23andMe customers. Wow. Okay. So I have ancestors that were enslaved in colonial Mexico. That's interesting. Okay, let's go back. So that was him. What's this one? St. Bryce, another male in the UK. Okay. Interesting. This looks like they have a lot more information about him, of course. He's not African, but we're related. Okay, a Viking in Denmark and a lady in South Africa. Late Stone Age. The remains of Iron Age South Africa, ela001, were discovered in 1926 in an inland cave in the Drakensberg Mountain, present-day South Africa, by the site's then landowner. Wow. The skeletal remains included ribs and bones, a left foot, and a leg. Including a complete hunter-gatherer bow and arrow kit and arm ring made of bone and ivory. Wow. I wonder if there's photos of this, because they were placed in a museum. I wonder if I can find these photos. I'm going to try and see if I can find these photos. Archaeologists cannot say which, if any, of the artifacts found at the site may have belonged to her. She likely died at some point but during the 15th century, meaning that she would most likely be associated with Iron Age artifacts. Her remains indicate that she was an adult, likely over 50 when she died. One of the bones that are typically used to, to decide if she's male or female, were preserved. She was later identified as genetically female. So cool. Share 4 centimorgans with her. Your DNA shares. Okay. Wow. So I wonder if we can look her up. Skeletal remains placed in this museum. So what I'm going to do is look up the museum and see if I can find her. ela001. Ancient genomes found, wow, 260,000 years ago. So it looks like it has her listed with other people. How long is this PDF? I don't see how many pages. want to see images. Okay, I'll come back to that. This looks like people are just doing research on it. But I wonder if the museum has any... Alright, I'll have to do some research and come back to this and see what I can find at the museum. So if I find any photos, I will include them here in the video. Online exhibitions. That's the other thing, is a lot of museums do not have things online. And that is why I love being an archivist, is because I work with museums to help them to create digital exhibitions for people who cannot visit in person. And my specialty is VR. So I've been helping a lot of museums digitize things and get things online on a website or something. But my research, my specialty area is VR. Their website's super slow, which means they need someone to be working on their website and probably reduce the size of their photos and videos. Alright guys, so that is that for this video. Pretty interesting.